Welcome to the Brick and Butter Zone. I'm your host, Case Erickson, here to talk to restaurateurs who reveal their secret recipes for success. You will be encouraged, equipped, and inspired to take your business to the next level. It's like butter, baby. Butter! So buckle up and get in the zone. I have here with me today none other than Mr. Wes Hurt, Mr. Hey Cupcake, Mr. Clean Cause, Mr. Magic Wand Waver. Wes, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Good morning, Case. I appreciate the overinflated compliments, but they're very gracious.
Yes,
and
my
thank you.
pleasure, my pleasure. Well, I've been watching you, Wes. No, I've been following
Okay.
you for some time. You know, I think you and I chatted way back in the day in 2013 when I first launched Truck by Truck West, Trucklandia Fest, formerly known as Truck by Truck West. And just kind of been keeping tabs on you. And, you know, we've since friended each other on Facebook, and I'm really enamored with your journey and your entrepreneur journey and sobriety and kind of your move into clean cause. And I was just really curious, number one, what led you kind of why did you first start Hey Cupcake, and then why did you make the transition? What led to the transition from Hey Cupcake to beverage and clean energy?
Awesome. Well, cool. Yeah. So I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. I'm pretty cliche in terms of, 99% of anything I tried historically was a failure. And then, you learn from your failures. But, before Hey Cupcake, which was about 10 years ago, I always had these ideas that were a little too big, to be honest with you. Big in terms of my experience. So, I wanted to do something online or something like that. And for me, I like to think big, but I'm also a guy that likes to get down and dirty and get my hands dirty. And so, Hey Cupcake was born out of the desire to bring something to market sooner rather than later, something that I could wrap my arms and my head around completely in terms of, baking a cupcake and then selling it and getting dollars for it. Like, that made sense. And I was like, I can probably do that. And so, and then, as we started doing some business planning of sorts, the whole idea of doing a brick and mortar building didn't make sense at that time from a capital standpoint for obvious reasons. And so the trailer movement was just beginning in Austin, and so we jumped on that. And so in terms of why I started it, I was dating someone in New York. I was up there. She took me to a cupcake place. There was a massive line. People were coming out with massive smiles and boxes of cupcakes, and, I knew it wasn't a regional thing, people liking cupcakes. It's nostalgia, and I knew right away I wanted to open it in Austin, especially because the demographic in New York and the area I was, and it was super popular, was very similar to Austin and hip and so forth. So I didn't think it was going to be difficult to translate that. And so I came back, started that in Austin, ran that for 7 years, built it to be a pretty decent-sized company. All of that time, I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and throughout that entire journey, with success, but also just with time, my addiction accelerated. I was mainly, I liked cocaine, but I liked cocaine just because it would allow me to drink more. So, I stuck pretty much with that for years, and drunk and high pretty much every single day. Switched over to opiates late in the Hey Cupcake career, and that baby brought me to my knees, and ended up living in a warehouse with a homeless guy, and which made me homeless, and was really just searching for purpose, and the cupcakes weren't doing it anymore for me. I loved that it made people happy and so forth, but there was nothing deeper to it. Do you have any questions that have popped up in your mind yet?
Well, what I got was that you kind of started Hey Cupcake for a girl. Did I get that right?
Oh, no way. I can never say that. Even if that was true, I can never say that on air because I am married, but it's not true. That's the truth. It was just a random was the randomness of it. I don't even know. We didn't date that much longer at all, and
I can do.
so,
look what I can do. No, but I'm really intrigued. Yeah, I'm really intrigued at your just your authenticity and honesty in the experience, and I think that's what a lot of people want to hear. Like if they're in that space, and there's a lot of people in the restaurant industry. I know from the restaurants that I ran up in DC, Northern Virginia, that substance abuse is, and I don't even know what the statistic is, but inside the restaurant industry, it's an issue for sure. There's a lot of use. Yeah. My poison of choice was alcohol at the time, and so I can definitely identify with the stress and the pressure and all that the industry can put on you, and how it's easy to run and check out. So you're in the warehouse, and then what happened after that? Like,
I'll condense it, a series of events, but essentially, I'd smoked a ton of crack. I'd taken probably 30 Vicodin. I drank as much as I could, and I was, I was in quotes, I was trying to go to sleep. That's very interesting, and and literally, excuse me, my heart was just doing something really weird that I'd never done before. And I knew, I had a pretty dang good idea that there was a correlation. It had to do with most likely the cocaine. Long story short, it scared me, man, and I just said, I was like, man, I'm gonna die, and I had been suicidal too, to be really honest. I was like, I'm gonna die, and it wasn't the dramatic, I'm gonna die in this moment. It was my eyes were open, and I said, this is how it happens, though. You are not special. You will eventually go. And so I called my wife and I said, I think I'm going to die. And it wasn't that day. Again, I just said, I think I'm going to die. And she said, come home right now. And long story short, I said, because I was thrown off because, them cutting off the enabling in my life was one of the reasons, was one of the most challenging things. They weren't enabling me anymore, so I really had to just go down the tubes by myself. There was no more manipulation left. No more stringing people along. They were unified and cut me off. And so I wasn't allowed at the house or anything like that. And, up until this point, it was come home when you get clean. It's not come home and get clean. And so, but for some reason in that moment, she said, come home right now. And I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, dang, that was weird. And so I said, what? And honestly, as an addict, I said, oh, this is great. She wants me to come back. I'm going to come back tomorrow. Because I want to get high tomorrow morning, and then so I can go home and be like at least comfortably high, and then get ready to face the demon of withdrawals and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so I said, okay. I hung up the phone. I looked at my buddy I was living with. He's a 65-year-old black man, drug addict as well. We come from polar opposite worlds, but had addiction and in common. And I looked at him and I said, I got to go, man. And I'd become pretty close to this guy, drugs or no drugs. And, and he said, go. And I haven't seen him for 2.5 years. And I texted him or called him just a couple days ago. And I tried to help him out when I got out, not because I'm such a great guy, it's because I just cared about him. And he texted, this is weird, just the timing of this conversation I'm having with you. Yesterday, he texted me. He said, I should have rolled with you. And what he meant was just he should have gotten on board the sober train, and but the good news is I wouldn't give up on him, and there's still light. There's still a chance, So anyway, that's kind of the dramatic side of things. And I went home and started the journey of sobriety, and then, within a couple months, which is crazy, my mind's always thinking. I've always had an entrepreneurial, just kind of I was just born with that, kind of inherent, and so I started immediately thinking of what was my next gig, and then what was I going to do, and honestly, it just kind of came. This whole idea just kind of came, and it was like, I can't explain it other than it just started happening, and within a couple of months, we had bottled water, and a clean label on it, and we just started hustling. And fast forward 2.5 years later, we're sitting here We got 5 employees. We're going really quickly. We're extremely blessed. People have just embraced this. I'm so I feel blessed to have the trust even of this cause in our little space, that people actually, they're like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt, and it's because it's half of our profits go to support recovery. And so anyway, it's just been radical. So that's where I'm at today. And so I know that was kind of a clip note, super
perfect.
quick,
That's perfect. And it's kind of the highlight low light / highlight of the intersection of humanity and authenticity and passion and entrepreneurship. So it's really awesome, and I really resonate with your journey. And so for people who don't know, like, Clean Cause is, tell people what Clean Cause is in case they haven't heard.
Sure. I call us a premium beverage company, but we sell H2O molecularly. It's exactly the same as every other H2O, but I happen to think it tastes better. But beyond that, we also have what I call organic clean pick-me-ups. I don't like to call them energy drinks because the reality is they're not over-caffeinated. They don't have tons of B vitamins or taurine. They're just light. They're consciously caffeinated. I like it. They're refreshing. I've been practicing that for about a year. And I've never used it before except for every time I talk to someone. So it's consciously caffeinated. I like to say it's just a clean pick-me-up, and it's just refreshing. But it's really cool because I think we've created something kind of new for the beverage space, but beyond just the product specs, again, the cause. And so we've got this radical duo that is just freaking exciting to be a part of. And so, the vision is, the clean dream is to have a consumer packaged good brand that spans products from cleaning supplies, literally, to a bottle of water. And I believe this can happen. I believe it can create hundreds of millions of dollars annually for recovery. Yes, I'm an addict and I'm grandiose and I shoot for the stars. Damn right. And so I wouldn't have it any other way. Otherwise, I'm going to go get high because I like to drive things intensely. I love to love my family intensely now, too. The common denominator is intensity.
Yeah.
So that's just the truth. So, that's where we're at.
That's great. I was going to ask you what's next, but I think you kind of hit that nail on the head. What sort of things do you, when you say you support the recovery community or support recovery, what sorts of projects or initiatives or other businesses that you partner with that have projects and that you've got to participate in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do, at the very beginning I was writing little checks because, we're not really that profitable at the beginning. And we're really starting to move towards that, like really, hopefully significant profit in the next couple of years. But that said, in the faith too, we're just paying forward, and to a give back initiative called, it's called Clean Kickstarts, and they're sober living scholarships. They're 30-day sober living scholarships, and we just wanted something, an initiative that was practical in that it was kind of a link between reintegration into everyday living, not as a normal person. I hate when people say that, but just as a human being getting back on their feet. So it enables them to focus on securing employment and establishing a recovery support system, and it's that simple. We've done 14 to date. And we'll continue to go. And the more we grow, the more impact we'll have. And I really want this brand to not be, as much as I would like it to be called West Cause at times, or Westwater, but West 2O. The reality is I can relapse any day. I think about it. I do. I even think about celebrating my recovery with a line of cocaine that's 3 yards long and increasingly gets wider. That's just my mind, and that's just real. And so the goal is that we keep bringing in people that are authentic and that are passionate, and the brand becomes, politically speaking, the season's perfect to say something like this, but it's the brand of the people. And this is something that consumers can choose where they put their money and then watch the impact happen empower them through their purchases, so they're getting something, and we're not just asking. And we just grow this baby up to be giant. And we fight, and this is one of those other things, we fight a public problem with a private solution, where we don't have to deal with the bureaucracy of government and all of this crap, which I do think is starting to turn towards positive. But let's bring it into our own hands, let's bring it into the consumer hands, and let's see what we can do. And so that's, in a nutshell, that's the vision.
That's awesome. Yeah, and partnering with Keep Austin Fed, Trucklandia partners with Keep Austin Fed and gives back, and I think it's just such. I find it hard to believe that there is. I would just encourage anybody in any kind of business to partner with, and create that cause inside their business. Create that partnership in that community, and whether it's 50% of your profits or 10% of your gross or whatever it is, it just resonates with us on a human level, and more of us are like, hey, how do you, this isn't just for profit, it's kind of like a nonprofit version of the profit, and what are we doing to better ourselves, and create that engagement, create that customer engagement, create that relationship, create the things that, hey, we're not just a quote unquote corporation, we're people behind the scenes, so even if you're in a quote unquote regular restaurant and you're not in a total recovery brand, right? You can still say, hey, we partner with this, we do these community nights, we do, there's any number of things that can get people into the space of community partnership, and I believe really grow their brand and grow their presence in the community in that way.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think what's fascinating to me is that, especially with kind of a conscious consumerism or capitalism, what it's going to become more and more imperative that there is more depth to brands, and or at least that's what a lot of the indicators show. That said, it's like, I absolutely agree with you. Look, I'm not trying, at times, it's like, what am I trying to become, like the sober prophet of this thing that's like this insane epidemic, that I'm going to be able to have more impact in you that's trying to help the environment? Bullshit. The reality is that, we all have different callings. We all have different skills. We all have different ways, like you're saying, within the community. Screw 50%. In retrospect, is that a great idea? I don't know. Maybe we could have grown faster if we were private, and I could have made more money personally and given it away more. Maybe it would have had more impact. It doesn't matter, the give back initiative. Just make it authentic and make it something you give a crap about. And impact happens. Impact is weird. I post something on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, or I connected with one person. Yesterday, I got a call, or 2 days ago, I got a call from the lady and says, hey, I'm in Michigan. It's rampant here, the epidemic. People are dying left and right. I can get you in front of the governor if you'd like to. But, or whatever you want, like that, these political people. But my point of saying that is that you're one person away in the impact you do from maybe creating something explosive ripple. And that is real talk. It's not the idea of looking at Walmart, who's given away $20 million over the last year to give back to feed the hungry. Yeah, they do that, and that's good, and I don't knock them for that, but they also do it for tax write-offs. There's business strategy. But the reality is that we're all little supernovas.
Yeah.
We really are. And when you believe that, and you start to live like that, the fulfillment you have, not in the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but you start understanding that saying of the rainbow.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, I'm on a rainbow!
And hopefully it never... Yes, you're on a rainbow. Hands up. Hands up, rainbow, man. And so it's radical to affirm what you're saying in terms of community, impact, connection, transparency. All of those are pretty synonymous to me. And there's mechanisms and gifts that everyone's been given to have a supernova impact wherever they are.
I like it. I am fueled up, Wes. I'm fueled
up. Dang! Woo! On fire! Put that guy out! All right.
That's awesome. Well, I love it you said, and I'll let you go here with this last little thing. I love it you said that we can just concentrate on the impact of one person, and just not, because I think entrepreneurs in particular get sidelined with this whole like grandiose, I want to take over the globe with my business. I want to franchise the galaxy, right? And so the reality is we can drive ourselves freaking nuts in that space and lose sight of the customers that we already have, or the people in our life. Even if we don't have customers, even if we just want to start a business and all we have is our whatever. So focusing on the one person that we can cause an impact with is really, really crucial and keeps us grounded and keeps us sane. So with that, what would you say if there's one person that's listening right now and they're in the throes of addiction or in the throes of feeling hopeless or whatever, what would be the one thing that you would have them hear?
So, and I'm going to relate this to business as well for the burgeoning entrepreneur, the one that desires. Think big, execute small. That's it. So executing small every day, every moment is the means to the means. I don't like to say end. It's the means to a means. So execute small. And we talk about it's cliche and recovery day at a time. Yeah, maybe it's a minute at a time, whatever. Do the next right thing. Execute small. All of the freaking dreams will come. But the reality is that your dream most likely will not be the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The fulfillment will be found on riding that rainbow. And so think big, execute small. Awesome. Is what I would say.
I like it. I got lots of quotables from you, sir.
Oh, I'm wondering how many of those I stole, too.
Recycle.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Recycle. I like it. See, impact. I'm recycling.
Recycling the consciously caffeinated recycling delivery system.
Well, there's something there, and I think we could probably add a couple. But yeah, you work on that, or I will, and we'll get back to one another. But honestly, thank you for taking the time. This is awesome because it reminds me and helps me get grounded again to go, okay, Wes, what are you going to do right now with the interaction? I'm about to walk into a grocery store. What interaction will I have with the person in front of me, and how can I
take your own medicine, Wes?
So cool.
Take your own medicine.
No. I have all the answers for everyone else. I'd like to go rogue, though, please. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and I eagerly anticipate watching what's next with you, and I really wish you all the luck and success that you can possibly manage. And I'm here cheering you on one rainbow at a time, Wes.
Love it. All right, love it. All right. Have a great day, and we'll.
All right. Thanks,
Wes.
We'll
talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening in to this week's episode of the Brick and Butter Zone. If you haven't already, go on over to brickandbutter.com, download your free mindset reset affirmations, and most importantly, feed your face, spread the love, and stay in the zone.